Hey, I'm doing great. I'm right now in downtown Tulsa looking out and just wishing I was out camping right now because it is a perfect day for that. Some of my friends are out camping and I'm a little bit jealous, I'm not going to lie.
So you've been, gosh, I lost track of the different places you've been, but you were social distancing via camping, which is really cool. What was your, I don't know, let's just go with your top two.
My top two. So I went out for a couple different weekends, and I've been able to explore to a couple different of the Oklahoma state parks. And so my probably favorite out of all of them has been Sequoia over at Fort Gibson. And the reason why is it's really easy to get to. A lot of times, whenever you're going out, you'll find, hey, the map looks like it's a really normal road, and it's not at all. It might be this little tiny back road, and so you got to plan a little bit in advance. And it's really easy to get out there. And then my all-time favorite is always going out to Hogan's and hanging out with him and doing a little bit of rock crawling and different things of that nature. It's a really great time, and I love the water. And there's tons of different waters out there, and it changes every time that you go. So those are probably my top two. I got to go out to a couple new places this week, and one of those was actually Okmulgee Lake. It's right down the road, and I'd never been there. I was really surprised that I'd never been there. And whenever I got out there, it was a great, great spot. So if you've never been out there, go out, check it out. It's a great time, and the lake is really, really pretty.
I know you went to Union. Are you an Oklahoman by native?
I am, yes. I'm born and raised here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I don't think I'm leaving anytime soon. I love Oklahoma. I got to travel around a little bit a couple years ago. I used to live in Tennessee and Florida, and one thing that I found is there's nothing like good old Oklahoma. So I love it, and I'm going to stay here for as long as I can.
Well, okay, so I have a different point, but what you just said reminded me of so many people I know who have moved here for work and fell in love and stayed, or there are people who have left here and ultimately come back because they miss it. That's what Oklahoma does to a lot of people. Now, I'm like you. I was born and raised here, but I've never had that experience outside the state. I've literally never lived further than 45 miles from where I do right now. So I am just like here forever. But that's what happens.
It's not a bad thing. Oklahoma's a great place, and it's a great place to go out and explore. And I think a lot of people are going to start doing that a little bit more with everything that was shut down. People are going to be staying a little bit closer to home, not necessarily traveling out and about as much. And RVing is a great way to still have a great time, have new adventures, and see what's here locally, and spend great time with your family and your kids, and make memories that are going to last a lifetime.
I ask about that because I feel like as a native Oklahoman, that I haven't seen enough of the state. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, how do you live here for this long and not have seen all these little spots? When you said you hadn't been to that Okmulgee Lake, and there's places that I've not been to, like you've been describing, the place in Disney and all the different camping spots that you've talked about that I would absolutely love. Here's a really bad one, Willie D. I've never been to Grand Lake.
Yes, yeah, and that's just right up the road too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of great camping spots up there. Hogan's is right by It's actually on Grand Lake, and I'm ashamed, but I haven't been to more state parks and stuff. I look on the map all the time, and I think there's like five or six. So lots of great stuff up there. Go take a camping trip. I think you'd have a great time. But there's lots of different places, and once you do start out getting out and exploring, one thing I've found is you're going to become very, very familiar with the roads. I went back down to Wilburton, which is where Robbers Cave is, and I was on this 20-mile stretch, and I was just down there a couple weeks ago, and I remembered it just like the back of my hand. And that's all the way down in southern Oklahoma. A really cool part of my job is I get to help customers out. I get to either go pick up their unit or take it out to them. A lot of times with deliveries, whenever guys are tied up at the shop, it's no problem for me to jump in a truck and just start trucking. And so that's what I did this week. I got to deliver a couple different units, and it was really cool to go revisit some of the spots that I've just been. And I got to tell Charlie, he was out there with me, kind of a little bit about my experience, and I think he's going to go out there and check it out here soon.
We'll talk more about some cool places to go camping, and we want your suggestions too. So text us at 95920 if you have a place you'd like to go, or you want to tell us that Willie D should go. If you have a favorite spot, or if you have questions about that kind of thing, we can also take your questions about your RV. So if there's something you don't know how to fix, or you need to get worked on, or you want a new one. Last week we played Matchmaker for someone on the air, so you can call us at 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764, and Willie D has those answers for you. Let's get an update from Willie D on what's happening at Wade's RV, because every week we like to start with an update, because business is weird right now considering COVID-19 and everything that's happening. So you guys have been doing video tours and sanitizing everything. With it starting to look like we're getting toward opening everything up like normal, it's going to take some time, Willie D, but what are you guys doing now?
Well, everything's kind of continuing on as we've been doing the last couple of weeks with our regular cleanings. The guys have the mask, and it's really weird because we're used to shaking hands and doing that business that way, and we're just not able to do that anymore necessarily right now. And so we're continuing on with those safe social distancing practices, but more people are coming out, and they're coming out and looking at RVs. We're still limiting, how many people are in the store. We don't want more than 10 people in the store at once, but we're doing lots of different video tours. People are coming out, looking at RVs, coming out camping, and it's great whenever they come back and we get to hear about, hey, I went out to this cool spot, and we got to be part of making those memories and making that happen. I had a couple people that were listening to the show last week actually call up and ask me for a couple different recommendations and call me back. Give me a follow-up. Let me know what you think about those spots. It's always a great time, but things are continuing on at Wade's RV. We're still fixing RVs. We're still selling RVs, and we're still making great deals every single day out there. We have lots of great trade-ins, which we'll get to later, a great deal on them. And we have toy haulers. We have lots of different products, and we still have one more idle time left. So if someone's looking for an Oklahoma-made RV, we have one left that they can take advantage of, and the payment is less than $200 a month. So that's a fifth wheel. You get a lot of storage, and you get a lot of camper for the money. So we have lots of things going on out there, and I got to stop by the other shop, and Amanda has a lot of big jobs going on over there as well, and we've actually expanded. That's something that happens all the time at Wade's RV, and we actually added another paint bay. So we're really excited about everything that's happening and everything that continues to go on each and every day.
Got a caller on the line we'll get to in just a second before we make our first break here. But Willy D, I think you guys have, you still have your delivery deal going on?
Yeah, so if you want your RV delivered, if you're looking for an RV, we can deliver it to you, and that's up to 100 miles free delivery. So take advantage of that. You don't have to pull it home. It might be me showing up at your doorstep. So I'd love to give you a demo, drop it off, help you get set up and everything like that.
Got some callers on the line we'll get to right after this first commercial break. Hang on with us. You can also text your question, 95920. It is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. On 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper with Willy D from Wade's RV is with me. We're all broadcasting remotely still, just to peel back that curtain for a second. I am at my kitchen table in Broken Arrow. Willy D is in downtown Tulsa. So until we can meet again in the studio, we are doing this remotely. And Willy D, just to make it feel a little bit like I was enjoying some outside, I opened the window, and then as soon as I open the window, a guy starts mowing, and I'm going to be sneezing in 5 seconds, so I'm going to have to close that.
Of course.
Trying to feel like I'm outside.
Yeah, it is allergy season. And yeah, I'm sitting up here. I have a really great view over the city right now, and it's a great day. I might have to go hit the parks and see what's going on out there because it's just such a nice day to stay inside.
So we have a caller on the line, Willy D, and I think your expertise is what we need for this. Dustin is calling Camping with Wade's RV. How you doing, Dustin?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Hey, I'm doing great.
What can we help you with?
Well, I've got it's a 2007 bumper pull camper that I have never been able to get the roof to stop leaking. Is there a certain product that you'd recommend, or am I better off just bringing it in and having you guys look at it?
With that, if you've had a continued problem and you haven't been able to find the solution, I would just go ahead and bring it in because there is a couple different products that are out there, and it really depends on, necessarily, do you have a tear in your roof? Is it coming in from a seam or a seal? It really depends on where that leak is coming from. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend a product without knowing the problem and the cause of the problem. I would bring it in because a lot of times whenever you do have a water leak, it may start out as one small thing and then turn into something bigger. So we want to make sure that there's no continuing damage or mold or anything like that we need to go ahead and remove. So I was talking to Amanda, and she's actually working on a coach right now. And they had a continued water leak problem, and a couple different people tried to look at it. It actually went to 4 other shops before they came over to Wade's RV, and we got down to the root of the problem. We're fixing it and correcting everything that went wrong with it, and they're going to be out just like nothing ever happened. So I would recommend coming on to Wade's RV. We have the 2 locations, 121st, right past the Walmart in Glenpool, and then we also have our Super Center at 161st, and we could help you out at either location. Scott and Randy at 161st, they are really, really good at finding those leaks, so I'd recommend coming by and seeing those guys.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Dustin, appreciate the call. If anyone else has a question like that, or you want to know anything camping related, give Willy D a ring. It's 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. You can also text us. 95920 is the phone number there. You were talking about that coach, Willy D, and I know you guys, that's kind of like your gig, right? Used coaches?
It is, yeah. Used coaches, we have them. Used products, we have the best used selection. And there's a couple different reasons. It's clean and it's quality and it's priced right. So whenever you're looking at used coaches, there's not 10 of them out there. And so we want to make sure we have the best of each one of those that are sitting out on our lot. And if you're looking for a project, we do have some of those project pieces out there and we can show you those as well. But we have some of the best used products. Brennan, I was talking to him. He's one of the sales managers out at 161st, and he has some great motorhomes he wanted me to talk about. There's 4 of them out there right now, if I'm not mistaken, that are under $80,000, and that is unheard of. There's a American coach out there. There's a Winnebago. I believe there's a Palazzo. There's lots of different great deals out there to be had. And if you like toy haulers, I love them myself. It's one of my favorite units.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a really, really awesome one get traded in. It's a Voltage Epic. And there's a reason it's called the Epic Package, is because it's very epic. It's incredible. The floor plan is awesome. The furniture is awesome. It's got a very unique floor plan. A lot of the times with toy haulers, it's very standard where you just have a slide out with the couch right there. This one is not that at all. I don't want to give away all the secrets about it because you're going to go check it out. It is posted online right now, so you can go to our website. We also have a Triton out there that's for sale. We have another Voltage, and then we have just a couple other different toy haulers out there. So if you're looking for something like that, we have it. There's a lot of good, bumper pull trailers as well. There's a couple different ones that are bunk houses. So if you have a family or you like to take your friends out like me, you can get a bunk house, take them out, start making some memories. Or if it's just you and the wife, or, you want to go out by yourself, we have options for that as well. So big or small, we got them all.
What are some things people could do today? Like I was telling you last weekend, I know a guy who he keeps his camper up by Grand, and they finally went up last weekend and got their first spring trip up out of the way, and they like to do those maintenance things to kind of get it ready for the season. What are some DIY things people should be thinking about now to sort of prepare for the season?
Well, one thing I would do is probably clean your RV before it gets to be really, really hot outside. A lot of times, if you just, have it out there and it's parked and maybe underneath a tree, a lot of times you can get that tree sap and stuff. Clean off your RV, because if you do have any tears in your roof or any problems with seals, a lot of the times you're going to be able to see that because you're up close and personal. A lot of times whenever I'm out camping, I don't necessarily hang out by the ladder on the rear of the coach. I'm usually hanging out by the door, hanging out by the campfire, grilling, hanging out by the outside kitchen, stuff like that. So by going around washing your RV, you're going to get up and close and personal with it. So if you do have any exterior problems, you might be able to catch them before it becomes a bigger problem. So go do that. You can also flush out your water systems, get your refrigerators going, lots of different things that you can get out and use your camper. That's the best way to see if you have everything working properly. And if you do need to do any repairs, is go through and test everything. So get out and use it, go camping. That's my biggest recommendation.
Yeah, I know that walk around you guys have talked about is really important. What are you looking for? Because obviously a flat tire is easy to spot, but maybe a problem with the tire that's not as easy to see if you're showing some of the cords or something in there. I mean, is there like a DIY inspection, or should that be looked at professionally?
With tires, I would definitely prefer to go ahead and put that on the professionals. I don't mount tires. I'm not around them every day, so I don't have tons of different recommendations. I would say make sure you swap them out every 6 years, because a lot of times with your RV, that tread on the tire is going to look a whole lot better than what the actual life of the tire can withstand. So you're going to want to make sure that you check those date codes. There's a 4-digit code. The first 2 are the week that tire was produced, and the last 2 are the year. So if you're wondering what year your tires were made, you can go out there and check that out. It's on all tires. So go out there and check that. But whenever you're looking around your RV yourself, a lot of the times, like if you have a back cap on a fifth wheel, it might be screwed in. Going up and down the road, bumping around, those screws might come loose. So you might need to tighten up a couple of those. I would look at that. If you have seals that are dry, guess what? It's probably not going to keep out the water. So you want to make sure your seals are completely covering everything that it needs to cover. And we have self-leveler and stuff like that. So if you're wanting to do some of that DIY stuff, come on by the parts store and be careful, because you're going to find a lot of stuff that you're going to like in there, not just your DIY stuff. They have lots of cool accessories. This week, we actually installed a camera system on a Torque that you can see all the way around the unit. So a lot of times with motorhomes, you have that where if you click your turn signal, you can see the side of it. We installed that on a fifth wheel. So it was really, really cool. And it was the first one we ever did. We have lots of different stuff, not just DIY stuff, but if you're wanting to improve your RVing experience, if you're having a problem backing up, put a backup camera on there and we can get you those parts, or we can get you those parts and we can install them, whatever you want to do.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. Skyler Cooper and Willy D coming to you from remote locations today as we continue to broadcast from around the city. And we're going to take a break coming up here for the bottom of the hour. Check the news. There are new COVID-19 numbers out today from the Oklahoma State Department of Health. And we have callers on the line, so if you have questions, we still have open phone lines, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. Dave, you are on the line, and we'll get to you right after this break. Man, just hang on with us. We're going to get through the news. Willy D will be right back. This is Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG. Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. My name is Skyler Cooper. Willy D from Wade's RV is on with us, and we are taking your questions today. Text us at 95920 or call 918-460-KRMG. Willy D, before we jump on the phones, you guys like to do videos for people, and you put out these, not just the DIY stuff we were just talking about, but instructional things or just good advice. They can find you on YouTube. I know some of it comes up on your Facebook, too. Do you guys have something new up right now?
Yeah, so this week we installed those cameras like I was talking about earlier, but we also installed the very first battery-powered awning. So if you're looking for a awning that you can install yourself, whenever you're putting it up, it is handy to have that second person for that second arm, but this is very much something you can do on your own. You don't need to take it to a professional shop to have it done, and it's really, really handy. So it has a battery just kind of like a DeWalt drill, and I was talking to John, our parts manager, who's been on the show. He's really, really great about telling me whenever we have new products that are being installed so we can tell customers about them, because I had no idea this was even out there. So there's lots of different cool accessories that you can put on your RV, and this is one of them. So if you're looking for an awning, if you have one of those manual ones, I've never been a fan of them myself. So the battery power awning is perfect. You can replace your manual one with this, and it'd give you something great to do if you're still stuck inside your house. So take a look at that. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We have it all over the place. So take a look at it. And if you're wondering about a product, send us a message. I'll be glad to get you information and maybe make a video on it even.
Dave is on the line. Dave, thanks for calling Camping with Wade's RV. How can we help you?
You bet. Got an issue with my own generator, 5500 Marquee. I just installed a new transfer switch, and I let it run for probably less than an hour, and the voltage drops out, and the generator still runs, but I don't have 120 in the coach.
Do you have a residential refrigerator in there?
No.
Okay. Sometimes the first thing I would start with is the inverter. Whenever you don't have enough voltage, a lot of times that can start causing problems where you're not getting power throughout your coach. With it being tied to so many different systems in there, I would probably just bring it in and have it looked at, because there is just so many different elements. With that, the Marquee, I would love to see it. That's a great coach itself. But there is just so many different elements.
Well, that's the generator, the 5500 Onan Marquee generator.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought
you
you were talking about
guys are about a 10-hour drive for me, so.
Okay, well, if you want, I would recommend probably talking to one of my service techs a little bit more, just because they do have some more knowledge on it, and they are working on that. I've seen them fix some really, really crazy generator problems. Sometimes it's a very, very small problem, and if you explain it to them, they can probably go right to the problem. So I'd give them a call at 918-291-1011.
That'd be great, but it's just so consistent that after it warms up, about 45 minutes, I get the sense that some contact, some ground someplace heats up enough and breaks ground or connection, and then I lose everything in the inside. So I'll see if they can point me in the right direction.
Yeah, very possibly. Like I said, it could be a small thing, but I think they're going to be the ones to get you right on the right road.
Hey, I appreciate the info. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
Where are you calling from, Dave?
Elizabeth, Colorado.
Wow, okay.
Awesome.
How did you find KRMG?
Yeah. iHeartRadio.
Awesome. Good to hear it, man. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Remember, you can download our app, too, the actual KRMG app, and you can get a lot more features. But glad to have you listening in. Willy D, we're going nationwide, man.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, tell us about some of the state parks. What's changing out there? Because some stuff was closed down, like the bathrooms and all that, but for the most part, things were open. Are they starting to kind of release the rules a little?
Correct. Yeah, it is getting a little bit more open. It is variable state park by state park. So if you are wanting to use a certain feature, you don't have necessarily every feature on board. I love pop-ups, but a lot of times they don't have bathrooms. So it would be very, very important if I was taking my pop-up to go out and make sure I had those facilities. Just give the state parks a call and they can point you in the right direction. If they don't have the facilities open, to a state park that does have all of that stuff open that you're needing. And I always use the website Travel OK. It's the best thing ever. I went through it with a customer that called me. They were listening into the show and they'd never heard about it. It's like making reservations for a hotel, but for your campsite. And it shows you great pictures of your spot and lots of different resources. Go on there and check that out. That's a great resource that I use almost every day.
They've really made it really nice lately. It's, Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell always, it's like his gig is his, not only is he lieutenant governor, but he's the secretary of tourism, and so he basically, it's his job to market Oklahoma, hence the new logo and everything we got a couple of months ago. But tourism is in the top three moneymakers for Oklahoma. It's a big industry around here, so they've put a lot into their website lately and really made it a go-to. I mean, there's things to do options, different places you can see, regions of the state, cities, because Willie D, I'm sure this is part of camping too, but if people are going statewide or across the country, it's not just about the destination, but the journey, as you guys always say, and there's places to see along the way, different cities. Like maybe you don't camp in Tulsa, but you stop and you see Route 66, and then you go out to the lake.
Yes, there's tons of different things like that. One of my friends is actually out at the Tallgrass Prairie Reserve, and he posted a picture of a couple of those buffaloes. And whenever I go up to Osage Hill State Park, I have to go see the buffaloes. So that's one of those stops that I always make along the way. I posted a video about it not being about necessarily all about the destination, because it is about the journey. Whenever you're in a motorhome, you get that big panoramic window so you can see the big open Oklahoma skies and those rolling hills. And, if you're in the mountains, you can see the mountains and stuff like that if you're in Colorado. So it's about the experience. If you're driving in a truck, it's going to be different than the motorhome. And I posted a video about going to one of those destinations. I crossed the Pensacola Dam, and if you've never been across there, it is a tight squeeze. And so whenever I got across, it was really cool because they were releasing the water. So while it was a tight squeeze and a little bit of a white knuckle experience, whenever I got across, it was well worth it. For one, my camping spot was on the other side, but for number two, I got to see a really cool landmark and got to see them opening up the water as well.
That's really cool. So travelok.com is like would you give it like a camper's must?
It's probably like my Google homepage for everyone else.
Yeah.
Whenever you get on your computer and you click on the Chrome, it's more so Travelok that pops up for me. That's what I use all the time.
That's really cool. And I'm just looking through it now because they've got things updated considering the stay-at-home stuff that's been going on. So they have releases in here, and if you click through the very top of the page, you'll find they're doing virtual things too, not just like you guys are at Wade's RV, but they're doing virtual tours of different tourist attractions, live streaming events. So if you're not ready to get out there and go do all that, then you can do it virtually, or just do a bunch of planning, Willie D. It's weird to be stuck at home, but I've been kind of using it as a good time to sit down and write stuff down and think about things I want to do to the house this summer or places you want to go.
Yes, you can do tons of that. One thing that's handy is because Oklahoma is so popular and a lot of these camping spots, people know about them and they go camping, and there is a little bit of a wait. So if you're wanting to explore and see some of these really cool sites, you can plan it out months in advance. And so go on there and plan yourself a camping trip and make sure you have the coolest spot that's in the park. You can literally click through and check out every single spot and make sure that you have the absolute best one. So I'm a big planner, and I always go through and I check those things out, and it's a great resource. You can do that, and you can find, different hobbies that you're interested in as well. One thing that I like is they have a really great Instagram and Facebook page, and it gives me lots of different ideas for when I'm looking at different camping spots or looking for different destinations at the parks themselves. I saw something this week and thought, oh, I was at Robbers Cave and I didn't see that. And so it was really handy because next time I go out there, I'm going to go and find it. So there's lots of different cool stuff on there. Get on there. Travelok. Oklahoma's popular. Like me and Skyler were saying, we're big fans of it.
Yes, and it's actually, you mentioned their social stuff. Just on the homepage, there's a good collection of photos, and for me, that's when I know I want to go somewhere. It's not just the name or the description, but when you see it, you go, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I want to go there, or I want to see this. It can make all the difference. So follow them on social. Follow Wade's RV on Facebook and Instagram too. We're going to take a break here. It's Camping with Wade's RV. When we come back, Willie D's going to tell us how you can go stay at one of these places and have kind of everything paid for you if you go check them out at Wade's RV. This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. before the break, different places that you can go, and travelok.com is your hub if you want to find some cool stuff for that. Good state website to check it out. Do you guys have a plan here? You're talking about giving away a vacation to state parks. Have you chosen one, or do they get to choose?
No, they get. That's the great thing about it is they can choose. We have a lot of different customers that come from all over the state, as we can see from all these different drop offs I'm doing. But you can choose a state park you haven't been to, one that you really like, and if you purchase a new RV from Wade's RV for a limited time, I don't know how long they're going to continue this promotion, but we're actually going to give you a free 7-night vacation out to one of those. So we can help you choose one. If you don't know one, I'll give you a great recommendation. There's lots of different ones out there depending on what part of the state you're wanting to go to, but that's only one part of our different promotions we're doing. We're still doing the free delivery up to 100 miles, and right now Wade told me that we are doing free estimates if you have hail damage. So if you have any hail damage and you're wondering how much that can cost to get it done, we can help you out with that and help you out with getting the insurance to help you out and get that claim started, and we can just help you out with just about anything you need RV wise. But come on in, and we got lots of great deals going on. Like I said, we have those motorhomes, the diesel pushers that are under $80,000, which is incredible and unheard of for the most part. And these things are super clean and super slick. I went through them yesterday. These aren't just, random ones they found off the auction block. These are very nice, high quality diesel pushers. And we have those toy haulers as well. So come on in. If you're looking for a new unit, we can get you hooked up with that great promotion and send you out to one of the great Oklahoma state parks for 7 days and 7 nights on Wade's RV, and you don't even have to pull out your checkbook.
Sounds good. I know you didn't go anywhere this weekend, but you have been camping a lot lately, even through the pandemic, because it kind of lends itself well to being distant from others.
It's a great way to stay away from others. That's why a lot of people go camping, is to get away and not necessarily social distance on the normal everyday living, but they can actually go out there and relax, unplug, and unwind. As we've experienced, a lot of times you don't have cell phone service. So you can really get away and really enjoy just a little bit of peace and quiet in the outdoors and get to know yourself, get to know your family, and get to know Mother Nature.
And just to be clear, that is totally allowed. We had someone kind of taking us to task the other day about, promoting. You talked about tall grass. I know a lot of people that have gone out there in the last couple of weeks, and this guy was like, well, it's supposed to stay at home. Like, well, the idea is to not be around others. You can get in your car and you can drive somewhere, and you're not going to be exposing anybody or be exposed by driving in your car. And camping's kind of the same thing. If you drive out to a spot, you're not around people, that's totally allowed, and it's okay, and it's safe.
Yes, you're going to be away from people. That's probably the safest thing you could do right now is go out and camp, because you're in your own spot and you're not around others. You're definitely not going to Walmart and walking through the aisles. You're out there and you're cooking over the open flame and just getting back to the base, just getting back to your roots, And that's the great thing about camping is, for one, it's affordable, but it's really, really relaxing. And I hate to tell people, but it is addicting as well. So be careful. If you like the outdoors, you're going to be doing it every single weekend. I find myself doing that every single chance that I get the opportunity. I'm in an RV and I'm going out to a new spot because it is so much fun. I love it. And I know all my friends do. And I've never heard of anyone complaining whenever they get back from an RV trip that they didn't have fun. So it's a great way to really get outdoors and have a great time.
Well, I know a lot of people are trying to find the positive in what's been going on, and it's kind of hard sometimes, but there is a lot of positive happening in the world. When bad things happen, people step up, and communities come together, and right now it's just that stuff is starting to really shine through for me. And I know one of the things you guys always talk about in the camping world is making memories. So what are your kids going to say, or what are your grandkids going to say in years down the road when they say, what were you doing during the pandemic of 2020? You know what? Well, if it's we went camping and I learned how to back up the camper, or my dad taught me this, my mom taught me that. It's a good time to create those sort of things and distract from the really seriousness of this while keeping yourselves safe.
Yes, so that is our slogan, is turning miles into memories. And whenever I'm asked what was I doing during this, I'm going to say I was turning miles into memories. And I've been on the road and I was really enjoying it and really getting to learn about a lot of cool places. And guess what? I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go out and see a lot of these cool places because usually we're in the studio. So I've been able to, there has been a lot of good positive things in it. And that's what we're seeing at the store is people are coming in, they're bringing their grandkids and getting out and creating some memories because they've been cooped up inside. And, the parents need to get out and get a little bit of that fresh air, and they want the kids out and get some fresh air, and they're coming on out, and we're helping them out with it.
Well, hopefully that it is Oklahoma, but hopefully the state will decide if it's going to be spring or not. It's like winter keeps creeping back in, but it's been really, even as the times it got cold, it hasn't really been miserably cold, so you could still go camping. Obviously, want to stay safe and keep KRMG close in case we have to go into Storm Center and that kind of spring peeks through. Like, we do have more thunderstorms next week possible, but for today and tomorrow, it's gorgeous. So I bet you'd be encouraging people to hit the road today.
Absolutely. It's great. I had a couple of my friends text me and they said, "Hey, are we going to go camping this weekend?" Because it is such a nice day. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a little bit colder during the night. So that way you can start up those campfires, get some s'mores. I always love cooking hot dogs. I found that I think Nathan's Hot Dogs is my preferred and recommended brand of hot dog if you're going out camping this weekend. So I would recommend grabbing some of those and getting out there and enjoying it because, like I was talking about earlier, cleaning your RV, doing a little bit of that maintenance. I don't necessarily like to be out sitting out by a campfire when it's 110 degrees outside. So get out and enjoy that while you still can, because before you know it, it's going to be summertime and you're going to be putting on those swim trunks and hanging out at the lake.
Just a few seconds. Tell us how to find Wade's RV.
Okay, you can come out and see us today. We're going to be open until 5. Always, you can go to wadesrv.com and check out our Facebook, Instagram, and if you like watching YouTube like me, hit the YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out all those camping videos.
Camping with Wade's RV is back next week. For Willy D, I'm Skyler Cooper. We'll see you. It's 102.3 KRMG.